Good to have you here. Second time. I missed you the first that you were back, but it's nice to see you, Jan. Give me your take on this number.
Well, the payroll number was clearly stronger than expected, but overall, I think it does show some signs of deceleration. The household survey, a little softer, unemployment rate unchanged for the second month, household employment somewhat softer, and I think the wage numbers also a little bit softer. So I think it's consistent with what the Fed is trying to achieve for now, which is a deceleration in growth that's moderate.
Right. And will it result in a deceleration in the inflation rate as well?
I think it will result in a deceleration. On a year-on-year basis, we're obviously already somewhat off the highs, and I think that's going to continue. The key thing to watch, I think, is what happens in the labor market and what happens with wages, what happens with open positions. The news that we've seen, including the bottom-up news from especially the technology sector, is that open positions are being brought down, labor force participation is rising somewhat, but it's a very significant adjustment that needs to occur, and these are only the early stages, so we're going to have to see.
Do you think that this gives the Fed comfort that the economy is absorbing the interest rate hikes well, absorbing kind of the runoff in the balance sheet, and therefore any kind of pause that I guess Steve Leisman earlier attributed to some guy in a room somewhere deciding that there could be a pause in September? But does this kind of indicate that that really is off the table, and perhaps that's why the markets are reacting like they are today?
Well, I think we're almost certainly going to get 250 basis point hikes at the next two meetings. And as you say, September is then more of an open question. I think a pause is very unlikely. Vice Chair Brainerd spoke yesterday, I think it was, and said it was unlikely. So I think the decision is basically between 25 and 50 basis points. Our forecast is for 25, but it certainly could be 50. But, just depending on what we see in the numbers over the next few months. But it's still a pretty long ways away. So there's plenty of information that they're going to have before making that decision.